Hajime Mashite Boku wa JDD, so everyone out there in YouTube land, welcome to the video. So today's video is simply going to be about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a last resort, in my opinion. I mean, you can only have it on your cell phone or iPad. I guess the Steam Deck. Uh, there's a few other, like if you buy a laptop that doesn't come with an RJ45 port, sure, then it's an only option for that. But that again in itself is a choice. You can choose to get a laptop that has a port and only use Wi-Fi when you absolutely must. But there I don't foresee the logical um like logically in the future, I don't imagine that there will be a Wi-Fi solution that can equal, plug it into a router, plug it into a switch, plug it into a modem. Uh, the security can be there, sure. You don't want to use airport Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, um, Starbucks Wi-Fi. I really would say don't do that unless you're going, through, well, obviously a VPN, or what I do is my phone is a VPN. Like I'll turn on my hotspot and I'm still on a VPN to my firewall. Um, yeah, it slows it down a little bit, but I would rather not have banking information and the stuff I do when I am mobile. I'd prefer to do it on, a tethered place or a wired place, but I'd prefer not to have that stuff out there. And if you don't understand why, that's fine. Just don't do it. Just it's not worth it. Like watch YouTube, watch TikTok. Don't check your bank account. Don't log into your Facebook. Yeah, the sensitive stuff. Don't check your email. It's just don't do it. It's not worth it. Just so you, I mean, because I could set one up at the airport and just call it, free fast airport Wi-Fi. 30 people will log into it. I don't do that, but it can be done, and I can see your passwords. I can see pretty anything you visit. I can watch you type. It amazes me that people don't understand that the internet isn't just like instantaneous and no one ever knows what you do. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic, but that's something else I might cover later. But I don't care. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you're gonna, get whatever. You won't or you will. So Wi-Fi itself. The inspiration for this video is that typically in my role, I don't support Wi-Fi, but today I've had two separate tasks, we'll call them, involving Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, and this isn't to teach you how to get super fast internet. Oh, we're going to triple your speed. You're going to cheat your ISP. Your speed is controlled by the device that gives you internet access. Like your speeds aren't. I love these videos. Oh, just do this, that, and the other, and you're going to get triple the speeds. No, you can improve your speeds. More importantly, you can improve your latency and your ping. I am not angry or hot about it though. So the first thing, about your Wi-Fi. Everyone needs to understand this. Wi-Fi is affected directly, affected, whatever, by line of sight. And that means, can you see the device that is giving you Wi-Fi? Not the internet, not the modem, not the thing the ISP gives you that the internet comes from. Wi-Fi is a different thing. You can have Wi-Fi and no internet. Wi-Fi is it's an add-on. It's a tool to access the internet. It's a separate component. You can have the internet without Wi-Fi, which a lot of people really don't understand this. You can have internet without Wi-Fi anywhere in the house or business. B, if you have Wi-Fi, the internet can break, and you saying, like if you call, say, me, tech support, for example, and you say, hey, I have no Wi-Fi, you're delaying the fix of the actual problem because you have Wi-Fi, you don't have internet. Like terminology, and then of course it's always, oh, you know what I mean. No, if I knew what you meant, this wouldn't have to be something I have to say. It's not it's like, oh, I want hot water that's a little dirty. Oh, it's called coffee, but you know what I mean. What else is hot and dirty? Anyway, so your Wi-Fi is best if you can see the device that is providing you Wi-Fi. Period. No argument. You can say but this and that. I went to Georgia and the Wi-Fi was great and it was in my neighbor's house. Well, okay, cool. Awesome story. That's one of those but if situations that has nothing to do. It is best when you have line of sight. Secondary to that, it's best outside of line of sight. The next best is if there's literally it's going through a wall, cool, but that wall is an American wall that's just made of, the cheapest lumber and, the thinnest drywall that's been only painted once or twice. A- And I mean that literally, a bare wall. Um, Now we're going to go to the other extreme. So you can test this. Put the device that you use Wi-Fi from on the other side of a bathroom or kitchen or both, and you're going to see a difference. Now, of course, to see the difference, you're going to have to know how to measure it, and it's beyond going to fast.com. But normally, like, yeah, you're on YouTube, right? Just do that and then try to watch, an HD video, and you're going to see what it naturally reverts to. Now, that's one simple way to measure it. And if there is any interest, sure, I will I'll break it down and do a video on like, hey, how do I measure Wi-Fi? Look at what the yin has done. Wow. Or how do I measure, good speeds versus fast speeds? Fast doesn't mean good. You could have gig by gig service and still be latent, have packet loss, not an excessive amount, high ping. Trust me. Anyway, that's another video, but someone has to drop a comment. um, so yeah, the reason why it sucks through that bathroom, through that kitchen, is a few factors. If your Wi-Fi device, mine works fine because it's an access point off of my firewall, and it's mounted as high as it can. It's mounted as high as it can be in the room that it's in, and it's not facing because an access point, it has directional. It's not facing straight down. It actually faces the rest. I live in an apartment. It faces the rest of my apartment. If I turn it the other way, I can get Wi-Fi. I'm 700 feet from a McDonald's. I can get Wi-Fi mine at that McDonald's, but it's not facing that way. It faces inside. The elevation and everything, I can use it in the back of my apartment without noticing a difference, and that's only on my cell phone. So the reason, like, imagine if I lowered it to floor level, A, I'm losing, I forget what it's called. It's like an angle of attack, right? It's gonna bounce off the floor, reverberate, and then there's gonna be a dead spot. I forget the exact measurements. If I raise it up, midway, and I'm laying in bed looking at my cell phone, it's going to be worse signal because it's passing through first the kitchen, and the kitchen, it has a sink. Water absorbs Wi-Fi. Doesn't reflect it, doesn't block it, it absorbs it. And the plumbing around the kitchen, is metallic, filled with water. Well, except the empty, you know what I mean. The refrigerator and stove, they're right there. Absorb, absorb, absorb. Cabinets filled with ceramic dishes. And then on the other side of that wall is my bathroom, same situation, except, metallic bathtub, glass shower doors, a mirror. Mirrors usually will reflect. The back side of a mirror, which is my case, absorbs because it's not designed to reflect, so absorb. Glass, the older glass is fine. So depending on like what the mirror, like who made the glass, how they made the glass, uh, any glass that really is good for blocking UV from the sun, absorb or reflect. I forget. I forget the exact actually on that one. Um, and then of course the access point or what source of Wi-Fi is low, and I'm low, so it has to pass through all of that stuff and still communicate effectively. Positioning, like if you use Wi-Fi on your TV and you notice it buffers a lot, it could be where, and you don't want it. Some people, I've seen people move oh, I'll just move my Wi-Fi router right by the TV. You don't want it right. If it's right by your TV, use a small cord, 3-foot cord, plug it into the Wi-Fi router, and don't use Wi-Fi on the TV. That's going to fix the problem. If that doesn't fix the problem, you got an underlying issue. Um, I've seen Wi-Fi routers in glass cabinets. That's horrible. You don't want it in a metal cabinet. You want it on top of the metal cabinet. You want it as high as you can get it. If it's directional, then you want it pointed in the direction that you want the service. You don't want it facing through cinder block or stone, reinforced concrete, and those are obvious. Older houses, they don't have drywall. They have plasterboard or typically plaster with chicken wire under it to hold it together, like for a base, a frame. That's straight up not a Dyson sphere. That's a Faraday cage, or at least a Faraday effect. So the fewer things you have between you and Wi-Fi. I've had to argue this twice today, so that's just stuck on the top of my top of my list. And also, there's an outside distance. All right, for and this is a generic number because everyone's going to have a different piece of equipment. It's not universal. An iPhone has shorter range when it's communicating with Wi-Fi than an Android because of the equipment, how it's set up. That's how they want it to work. That way you'll have a better service because you're not on Wi-Fi because it's a drop off and then the YouTube plays normal. Um, But, like Android, yeah, you're going to hang on to that Wi-Fi a little bit longer, but you're going to notice choppiness, to save you on data or whatever. Um, oh, and I lost where I was going with that when I went off on the iPhone tangent. I wish I could play back a recording without stopping it. I can cut this bit out while I remember. Measurements. I was doing measurements. That's what it was. Not really measurements. The ballpark, depending on the devices, and this is the device you're using: iPhone, Android, iPad, laptop, Steam Deck, whatever. And also, it depends on what you're using: the access point, the router, the Wi Fi router. How do you get the Wi Fi? It depends on both of those, but roughly, line of sight for 5G. And not everyone, now everything's just called, hey, Hilton Wi-Fi, and you don't see if you're on 5G or 2.5 or what, or 6. You don't see that. But for 5G, line of sight is 40 feet. For 2.5, the line of sight, I know it can work at 150, but I wanna stick to 110 area, just because of the differences in devices and etc. Um, and and I'm not sure. I know 6 is like in that 40-foot area. Um, Honestly, I haven't looked at the math on that in a long time, or in a long time period. That there is a math to it. And the other thing, um, let me do this, I guess. The other thing is this, like, I've used this. This doesn't have. Oh, this has paint. Um, I've used this description before, and it seems like it misses people. Um, it's like a grenade explosion. Oh, I thought I could just draw a line. You know, I don't even know if let's just say this. Imagine this is a grenade. Um, and this isn't exact science because I'm not using math here. I'm just drawing a quick thing so you understand what I'm talking about. So, if the grenade goes off in the ground, I don't remember the measurements, the distance, but like where'd it go? Let's do this, and then where's my brush? Come on, brush. Oh, that's width. Why is it so different here? Oh, I'm using the Japanese one. That's why it's different. Anyway, so like this area right here is the safe zone. These areas. Because the shrapnel is going to, and directly up, it's going to be lower. But that's an explosion. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, imagine this is a Wi-Fi router. Like right here, that's a Wi-Fi router. If it's set on the ground, it's the same problem. This area, the signal is here, but it's going to be full of not packet collision. It's going to be full of issues. You don't have to understand the exact why, but there's going to be issues here. So, the idea is that, you got the ground, the floor or the ground. Oh, come on. There you go. You got the ground. And then you mount it on the wall. and it eliminates the dead zone. So like if you're, because you're, remember that dead zone I just showed, that could be your bed. And like if your problem is I can't see my Wi-Fi in bed, that could be it. It's in the living room, you're in the bedroom. It could be low enough to where it's going over you. Now, you might have Wi-Fi in your bed, but if it's being slower, I would try that. Elevate your Wi-Fi device. Um, and that's pretty much any any Wi-Fi device, an access point, a Wi-Fi router, whatever. You don't want it inside something else. I've seen it in wooden cabinets. Wood is a good absorber. Fresh wood, painted wood, living wood is a good absorber because of the water or the paint or both. Moisture is a killer. I think that's going to be it though, because I can't, I can keep ranting about Wi-Fi just because, but this is a 20-minute video, and I'm going to maybe drop one edit, maybe just release it raw, because I really could rant about Wi-Fi so much. Oh, so if you've been with me this long, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Bye now.